Hey guys, welcome to Film World. Today I'm going to explain a crime thriller film called Loving Adults from 2022. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The movie opens with a woman named Leonara who goes for a run at dawn, while a voice in the background narrates that almost all murders are about love and that it is rare that someone is just murdered randomly. Leonara crosses a bridge and runs into the woods as her husband Christian is sitting in his car silently observing her. As she passes by, Christian stares at her angrily and then starts driving his car. He follows her in the woods and runs her over without any hesitation, killing her instantly. The scene changes to the narrator, an old detective in charge of Leonara's murder case, who is having lunch with his daughter while he explains the story to her. He tells her that he doesn't believe in the theory of hit and runs and is pretty sure that Christian is involved in Leonara's death. He starts narrating the story again as the movie goes into flashback, exactly 3 days before the murder. Leonara and Christian are sleeping at 3 a.m., but they keep getting disturbed by Christian's phone repeatedly ringing. Leonara is annoyed by this and demands that Christian show her who is calling him, but he refuses to hand over his phone. Leonara's suspicions grow from Christian's rejection as she thinks he is having an affair, so she goes to his side of the bed to take the phone, but instead of letting her check the phone, Christian throws the phone across the room. The detective narrates the story and then talks about the background of the couple, saying that Christian runs a construction company with his friend Peter and Leonara is a professional violinist, but she had to give up on her career to take care of their son Johan, who is terminally ill. The morning of their fight about his phone, Leonara apologizes for lashing out at Christian, in reply to which he says that it is fine. After that, she goes to drop Johan and his friend Martha off at school while Christian goes to work at a construction site. There, he shares intimate eye contact with another worker named Xenia, and later they meet in a private room at the site and share a kiss. They started talking and it turns out she was the one sending him the messages at night. Xenia is frustrated and gives him an ultimatum to choose between them. Christian is conflicted to hear that, as he says that even though he loves Xenia, he cares about Johan who is getting better and he wants to be a good father to him. Xenia is furious to hear that, as she blames him for taking too much time and then storms away without giving him a chance to say anything else. Meanwhile, when Leonara comes back home after dropping Johan off, she decides to stalk Christian on Facebook, while simultaneously calling the phone company to retrieve the messages on Christian's broken phone. But the company rejects her request. Eventually, she sees a picture of Xenia and Christian together, smiling fondly at each other, which raises her suspicions that her husband is having an affair. When Christian returns home that day, she is dressed up and tries to be intimate with him, but he rejects her advances, which further confirms her suspicions. That night, they leave to attend an event at Christian's workspaces, where he praises Xenia for her exceptional work. Seeing her husband praise Xenia like that, Leonara grows more jealous. After the speeches, everyone starts to celebrate, and Leonara is wandering in the hall when she notices Xenia and Christian going upstairs. She silently follows them and catches them having sex with each other. On their way back, Christian notices her mood and asks if she is okay, but Leonara just dismisses him by saying that she is tired. The next morning, Christian finally decides to come clean and talk with Leonara, telling her that he wants to get divorced. Leonara also breaks her silence by telling Christian that she saw him with Xenia at the office the previous night. Leonara is infuriated as she says to him that she agreed to give up on her career for the past 20 years so she could take care of their sick son, and now if they get divorced, she would be left with nothing. She then threatens to report Christian to the police as she knows he committed fraud in his business, and since he was the one getting more profit from his crime, which was the reason Leonara had to give up her career. Christian is afraid that he will be arrested if she reveals his crime and tries to offer her some money, but Leonara refuses, saying that it is not about the money but the deal they made. After their argument, Christian starts to plan something and tracks down Leonara's old friend Cassandra without knowing that Leonara is following him. He sits down with Cassandra to have a talk and tells her about his plan to get a divorce. Listening to him, Cassandra warns him, saying that when Leonara was young, she had a boyfriend named Mike who died by falling off a cliff. According to the rumors, Mike was cheating on her and eventually planned to break up with her, leading to people believing that Leonara pushed him from the cliff. Finding a possible way to blackmail Leonara, Christian decides to find the girl Mike cheated on Leonara with and also visits the cliff from which Mike fell to his death. He had also found the contact information for Sonia, the girl Mike was cheating with, and gave her a call. Sonia tells him that they were camping at that time and snuck away from the group to make love. She says that all the time she felt like she was being watched. After their intercourse, Mike moved away for a smoke, and a few moments later, she heard him scream. When they searched for him, they found him at the bottom of the cliff. Christian remembers that Cassandra told me she saw Leonara at the camping site. The situation seems more complicated when the camera turns around and we can see Leonara hiding behind the bushes and silently watching Christian. Back with the detective, he tells her daughter that when people in the town started questioning Mike's murderer, Leonara's music teacher testified for her, saying she had been practicing all this time. When Christian comes back home, Leonara tells him to leave, but he is reluctant, fearing that she will call the police on him. He then tries to blackmail her instead, saying how people in her old town believe that she killed her boyfriend Mike. Leonara is upset to hear that, but she doesn't dwell on it since no one has solid evidence against her. She then tells him that the only way she will not tell the police about him is if he stays with her. Leonara then forcefully dials Xenia's number on Christian's phone, telling him to break up with her, but he hangs up the phone as he loves Xenia and can't end their relationship. Leonara is furious and pushes him out of the house, saying that this house and their son belong to her only. The detective in the background says that anyone who is left with no choice will turn to attack, and that is what Christian does. He comes up with a plan and goes to his office, where he swaps his car with a van. In the meantime, Leonara is jogging in the slow rain as per her routine. Christian had driven into the woods and found a hiding spot behind the trees on the path where Leonara passes daily. As soon as he sees Leonara passing from there, he starts driving the car slowly behind her and eventually runs her over. When he notices Leonara is alive and still moving, he drives backwards, running her over once again. After making sure she is dead, Christian goes back to his office to make it seem like he was there the whole time. At the end of the day, when he goes back home, he avoids looking at Johan and guiltily cries in the shower. After his shower, Christian pours himself a drink to relax, but he is left shocked when Leonara calls him from behind. Christian is devastated as Leonara casually asks him if he decided to leave Xenia and then mentions how good it was taking a new jogging route today. As Leonara goes to their room, he stands there in horror, thinking how he must have killed the wrong person earlier. That night, Leonara asks him if he came back because he still wants her, to which Christian says yes, even though it is not the truth. The next morning, they are about to head out for the day when their neighbor shows up and tells them that a lady was killed last night in a hit and run along the path that Leonara uses every day for her jog. Christian leaves to work without any comment, while Leonara is shocked and visits the crime scene, where she finds that the lady who died was the mother of 3. A few days later, they are hosting a graduation party at their home when the detective shows up there and questions Christian if he saw or heard anything out of the ordinary on the night of the murder. Christian replies that he was working overtime on the night of the incident, and the detective leaves after that, apparently satisfied with the answer. During the rest of the party, he seems very uncomfortable and stares at Xenia's messages that he didn't reply to. After the party, he goes to the place where he killed the woman and reads the messages left by the woman's children. He is filled with guilt and goes to the police station to turn himself in, but the receptionist tells him to wait. As he is sitting there, he gets a message from his son that reminds him that he wants to be there for his son as an ideal father. Just then, he sees a news report that police are saying whoever was involved in the hit and run might have left the country already. The news makes him change his mind and he goes back home. Meanwhile, Leonara goes for a car wash and is surprised to find that her car wash card is out of balance, even though she didn't use it. She talked to the receptionist and retrieved the security footage of when her car was brought there for a wash. At home, she shows the footage to Christian, which shows him trying to wash the van after killing the woman. That leads her to believe that Christian tried to kill her but failed in his mission. When she presents her suspicions to Christian, he starts to feel guilty, and seeing his expression, Leonara is sure that he tried to kill her. She quickly dials the police to turn him in, but he snatches the phone from her hand and tells the police a made-up story saying that they decided to call because they saw a car with a foreign number plate in the area. In the meantime, Leonara runs out and starts her car. Christian comes there and hands over her phone, begging her to stay, but she ignores him and drives away, scared of her husband. Christian is nervous and loses all hope just as he sees the detective coming to his house. Before going out, he gives his son a hug, saying he loves him. But to his surprise, the detective is not here to arrest him. Instead, they just want to question him about the foreign plate he saw. Christian is nervous during the conversation with the officers, which makes the detective suspicious about it. But he doesn't have any evidence against Christian yet. Just then, Christian receives a message from Leonara, who is inviting him for dinner. At the dinner, Leonara says that she can't report him to the police because she only cares about their son, and his life will be ruined if Christian goes to prison. Leonara then says that she has lost trust in him, and for him to win it back, she wants him to murder Xenia because as long as she lives, it will always be a liability to their marriage. Leonara tries her best to convince him, saying that he just needs a strong alibi, just like she did when she killed Mike. Leonara finally reveals about Mike, telling Christian how she snuck into the woods and saw Mike having sex with Sonia and then pushed him off the cliff when he was alone. After killing Mike, she snuck back into the music room through the window, and all this time she had the music player playing a violent track the whole time. Shortly after, the music teacher came to check on her and she immediately started playing the violin, pretending she was there the whole time. Christian eventually agrees with her as they two decide to stay at a hotel for vacation, but in reality, they are there so Christian could murder Xenia, and they will make it look like a robbery. At night, Christian sneaks out and goes to Xenia's house, who doesn't let him in at first as he is ghosting her, but Christian breaks the door and barges inside her house. He holds her hand on her mouth tightly while confessing how much he loves her more than anyone else in the world. Meanwhile, Leonara is in the hotel room making a call to the room service and casually mentions that her husband is in the shower. To make their alibi stronger, Leonara uses Christian's phone to text Xenia saying that he is leaving her house because he loves her family more. When Xenia receives the message on her phone, Christian quickly kisses her to distract her as he knows what is in the message. Back at the hotel, when the waiter comes there with food, Leonara plays a voice recording of Christian from the shower, making it look like they are having a conversation. She is oblivious to the fact that Christian didn't kill Xenia and instead slept with her. Later that night, Xenia gets up to go to the bathroom and notices that her window is open. But before she can do anything, Leonara approaches her from behind and stabs her repeatedly in the gut. When Christian goes to check on Xenia, he is shocked to find Leonara standing there with blood on her clothes and Xenia's dead body on the floor. A few days later, the police are called to Xenia's house on her neighbor's report and find her electronic devices are missing. But strangely, they didn't find a dead body and there is no DNA or fingerprints on the bedsheet. The police manage to retrieve the last message on Xenia's phone, which leads them to Christian's house. They question the couple, but the detective is not satisfied with their answers and he still thinks something is missing. He decides to send a team of hounds to search through the woods for a dead body while Christian and Leonara are celebrating a house party at the same time. Eventually, Leonara sends Christian to light up the bonfire they set up in the middle of the lake. Just when he reaches there, the hounds come out of the woods and start barking at the lake. Christian grows more nervous and quickly puts the gasoline in the woods. He struggles to light the matchstick but eventually manages to do it. And as the fire is lit, the hounds stop barking. Christian returns to his family and notices a woman looking at the fire with binoculars. He takes the binoculars from her and looks at the fire, revealing Xenia's dead body hidden there. Eventually, they decide to sell their house and move to another place. The story goes to the detective, who tells her daughter that even though he believes Christian is a murderer, they couldn't catch him due to the lack of evidence. The movie ends with Xenia's bones lying at the bottom of the river. To watch more explanations of these kind of series, click on the videos on your screen and don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.